With all the excitement brewing around Wonder Woman 1984's introduction of new characters Barbara Minerva, played by Kristen Wiig, and Maxwell Lord, played by the Mandalorian himself, Pedro Pascal, you may have overlooked that Chris Pine is back, reprising his role as the roguishly handsome Captain Steve Trevor, which, if you've seen the 2017 Wonder Woman, might have come off as a bit of a surprise to you. To help you unravel the mystery of how Steve is back and how he looks so good for his age, here is everything you need to know about Steve Trevor. To give a little recap of Steve's history from the film Wonder Woman, while on a top-secret mission in World War I infiltrating German command, Steve uncovers Dr. Poison's plans for a biochemical weapon. Afraid of the devastating effects this would have on the war, Steve steals some vital intel and tries to Indiana Jones his way back to Allied forces. Unfortunately, his genius plan of sprinting out of the room with stolen intel and hopping into the first running plane he could find falls apart when he is shot down into the Mediterranean. Luckily enough for Captain Trevor, he crashes into the waters of Themyscira, the mythical island of the Amazons. And as if things can't get any better for him, he's pulled from the wreckage by Princess Diana herself. After a quick battle with the Germans who are pursuing him, and a little help from the Lasso of Truth, it's Steve that informs the Amazons of the massive war that surrounds their island. This information inspires Diana to leave home, to stop the war and defeat Ares, the god of war, who turns out to be their boss. Steve and Diana battle their way across Europe trying to stop Dr. Poison's doomsday weapon while hunting for Ares. Eventually, Steve sacrifices himself by flying a plane with a bomb set to release Dr. Poison's gas up into the atmosphere and then detonates it. It was this heroic self-sacrifice, mixed with her memories of her time with Steve, that restored Diana's faith in humanity, giving her the strength to defeat Ares. But the character of Captain Steve Trevor has been around for much longer than the 2017 blockbuster. His first appearance in the comics was in the 1941 All-Star Comics number 8. U.S. spy Captain Steve Trevor was introduced by Wonder Woman creator, psychiatrist, and grandfather of the lie detector test, William Moulton Marston. Seriously, he invented a prototype lie detector test and the Lasso of Truth. This guy seriously did not like being lied to. In most Wonder Woman stories, Steve's role ends up sorta being a modern-day Sherpa, introducing and teaching Diana to the complex realities of the world outside of Themyscira, showing her the importance of not being hit by cars, how to vanquish revolving doors, even teaching her the basics of biology.
What's that?
Oh, it's a watch.
Also showing her a thing or two about classic timepieces. Oh, and the joys of ice cream.
What do you think?
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Chris Pine describes the character as a cynical realist who's seen the awful, brutish nature of modern civilization. This is in contrast to Diana's naive innocence and black and white views on morality. It's the thing that makes the relationship so compelling. He introduces her to the darker realities of the world, helping her become a more well-rounded person, while her almost blunt, heroic optimism inspires him to embrace what the world can be. In the golden age of comics, most women's roles stuck to kidnapped damsels or girlfriends who have not yet been kidnapped. Which is one of the ways the Wonder Woman comic changed the industry forever. Bringing in Steve Trevor flipped that tired, damsel in distress trope on its head. In fact, most of Steve's early appearances are him needing to be saved by his boo. Though this may seem like a mere gender swap today, at the time it was a massive statement about gender equality. Normally, a tough pilot/spy who at times was a member of the Justice League, Argus, and Justice League Dark, Captain Trevor would be the one doing the saving. But even he needs saving from the toughest woman in the DCU. To add to Trevor's seemingly never-ending list of impressive titles, he is the only man to be granted honorary citizenship in Themyscira. Well, other than Superman and Batman. But hey, that's not a bad club to be tossed in with. Even though those tend to be the other guys aiming for Diana's affection. But unlike Supes and Batman, Steve was even given the position as liaison to the United Nations on behalf of the Amazons. They probably chose Steve to represent them because he's the only guy on the island who isn't wearing a cape all the time. Like many comic book relationships, Steve and Diana's is a convoluted on and off again mess. Sort of like your failed relationships, but with killer robots. Steve on several occasions proposed to marry Diana, but was often rejected, since she needed to prioritize saving the world before marriage, in accordance with Aphrodite's law. Needless to say, the will they won't they drove the fans crazy for years, until the final issue of the original run of Wonder Woman, when after defeating Captain Wonder, a villain with similar powers to Wonder Woman, made to look like Steve Trevor by Dr. Psycho, the two were finally married. This was of course retconned, and then retconned again, because it's comics, but hey, for at least one issue, they were married. Though Chris Pine may have immortalized the role with moments like, "He isn't the only hunk to bring Steve to life." Tomon Pineket, George Newmer, and Nathan Fillion all voiced Steve in various animated films, while Lyle Wagner starred in the first live-action adaptation of Wonder Woman's main squeeze in the TV show Wonder Woman. So if you're anything like me, you may be asking yourself, but how is he walking around in 1984? Did he survive the explosion? Is Steve an immortal, ageless, smooth, ripped bean? Did he parachute to safety? Well, exploding in the stratosphere isn't Steve's only brush with the afterlife. Like most comic book characters, Steve's met his end a few times. Most notably when he was shot by one of Dr. Cypher's henchmen and then brought back to life by the goddess Aphrodite. Even in some alternate universes, meeting his end at his beloved Diana. More than once, actually. And you thought your relationships ended on rocky terms. So is that the resurrected Trevor, an evil clone? A Steve Trevor from an alternate Earth? All we can say for sure is he can rock a fanny pack. And that's our video for the day. If you liked it, or at least like the way Chris Pine looks in a fanny pack, give us a big thumbs up and subscribe for more Wonder Woman content.